Welcome to another episode of the Hakuna Licata podcast. Today it gives me great pleasure to introduce CiBon Jackson from the Atlantic City musical trio Originaire. CiBon,
Hello.
thank you for having me over here today.
Thanks for inviting me to do this.
Of course. Have been an admirer of your music so far from what I've heard.
Thanks.
I really appreciate you kind of helping me out getting this podcast thing started. It's been a little passion project of mine. And, it's cool to see other people who are trying to do some sort of other production and kind of like, I'm noticing that there's like a community kind of building up between people who produce stuff, like helping each other out.
Yeah, around here especially, it's a small area, so us creatives have to stick together.
Yeah, the longer I've been in Atlantic City, I've kind of noticed that, like really how small of a town it actually is. I'm from up the way in Camden County a little bit, and I only ever came to Atlantic City to gamble every once in a while, and it was kind of like
21st birthday excursions.
Yeah. So, I'd come down to Atlantic City, and I always say it's kind of like the Sunday morning syndrome. It's like I come down to Atlantic City, I'd be up all night gambling and partying, and then I'd wake up in the hotel room and it'd be like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun's coming up. And
that's like the only memory I had before I moved here of Atlantic City. And now I live here, and it's like there's so much more to it. Yeah. And
I would like, the sun would come in and I'd like hop in my car, tail between my legs, and like rush home back to my bed.
Yeah.
But it really is a beautiful town, and we're sitting up at CiBon's place right now looking over, I guess this is an outskirt of the bay.
Yeah, it's an inlet of the bay. If you go right out there, you can head to Brigantine on a kayak or a paddleboard.
Yeah, you can't really ask for anything better in the summertime than being right on the water.
No, it's amazing.
And I'm also drinking a really good cup of coffee with some fake sugar in it.
It's real. It's organic.
Whatever. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about like the formation of your trio, because originally like you and Ken both had your own acts, and I assume Valerie had her own thing too.
She was working with another band, and Ken and I met. He actually opened up for my mom. My mom's a singer as well, and she was doing a house show. And Ken kind of opened up. He was one of the openers for the show, and my mom, of course, being my mom, was like, "Oh, you have to meet my daughter. She's a singer." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And we actually known each other because we had played this benefit for like a bunch of years together.
Right.
And he thought I was he didn't think I was nice. Let's just put it that way. And
like nice as a person, or like nice in your musical talent?
Like nice as a person. Because I was like, I would just show up to this event, and like it was a crazy day, so like we never got to interact or anything. So the first impression wasn't the best, I guess. But he got a call from his agent that he needed to put a duo together.
Okay.
And it was like in a couple days, and he was like, he Facebook messaged me, and he's like, you don't really know me, but like, can you come like do a gig with me and like pretend you know what you're doing?
He used the word pretend?
Yeah. He's like, I think he said pretend you know how to sing, or like it was something like, I know, right? It was something very kind of, condescending. And then we didn't have time to rehearse or anything, and I just showed up to the gig, and it was kind of like magic. Like we just the way our voices blended together, and how we could just like learn songs on the fly and like improv on stage it's really rare to find somebody, one, that you can vibe with, and like two, actually sound decent with. So we've been playing together ever since that. And then like just this past summer we met Val in Cape May at a singer-songwriter event, and we slowly were like, we want you to come play with us.
Just kind of throwing some breadcrumbs out
hey,
there for her.
Like, come do this gig with us. And then it was like, hey, like, let's get in the studio together, and like, let's write together. And like, adding her, it was like the same kind of magic as when like Ken and I got together. It was just like instant. Like when we play on stage now, like with her playing violin and me singing, like we can like harmonize, and like it's strange, like we know like where we're gonna go with things, like with songs like that we've never maybe played before. So yeah,
it's really kind of interesting. It seems like things like that aren't something you can necessarily go out like searching for. They kind of just like appear and come at the right time.
Yeah, and you have to like be open to it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because maybe the artist you're looking to blend in with you isn't like the type you would think that you would get. I mean, obviously from the way Ken approached you, he didn't really think something was going to work out. And it's funny that
we've been playing together ever since. Like, it's insane. Like, I wasn't looking for that, you know?
Right.
Like, I was at a time in my life where, like, I didn't know where I wanted to go musically, and then this just, like, fell in my lap, and I was like, and it's just, when it happens like that, it just feels so right, and, like, you know. Like, you just, like, with anything else, with any sort of, like, job or, like, creative thing, like, or, like, when you find out, like, what you're supposed to do in life, like, you just instinctively, like, you just know.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm trying to do with this podcast. It's more of something I want something constructive to do with my free time, and it's really kind of fun. You know, I've said on a couple of other episodes, like my dream job is this. My dream job is to wake up at about 8, maybe 9, and then get paid to go have coffee with somebody, right? And then get paid to meet up with somebody for lunch and just like sit and chat, because like I love to talk, and it's kind of hard to get me to stop talking once I start. So this is kind of meets that. Like, you know, come over, sit down with somebody, shoot the breeze for a little while, and then
they make
just, like,
you a nice strong cup of coffee.
A nice strong cup of coffee to get me talking even more than I usually ordinarily would do.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes. And the really, really cool thing to me so far is when I brought it up to people, be like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Everyone immediately says, like, oh, yeah, when you want to do it. Like, can you come over? You know, I had a buddy of mine, John, who let me borrow this equipment, and it's great. It fits in a backpack.
So, you like, bring it anywhere.
I'm totally mobile.
It's so cool.
Totally mobile. And I mean, you saw the setup time. It was like 5 minutes, plugged in, do a quick little audio check, and then like it's ready to go.
It's awesome.
It really couldn't be any simpler.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't really used much technology since like 2009, so it's like it's pretty dummy proof.
I mean, yeah, like it changes, but not by much.
Right.
For this kind of thing.
So, so you recently decided to do music full time, right? Like, what were you doing like prior to that? What kind of led to your decision to do music full time?
Right. So,
what's that look like?
My whole life, you know, like my parents are musicians, so I grew up in a household where, like, my parents did music full time. Like, so I got to see that it was possible. Like, yeah, it's a struggle. It's not easy.
Right.
You know, like,
it's not a consistent paycheck, I would
assume. No,
it's
not. And it's like when there's work, like in the summer, like we do really well. And then it's like budgeting for the rest of the year is the hard part, you know, like, but I just remember like growing up, like parents would say to my, like in school would say to my parents, well, what's your real job? Like they literally say that to them. And like, so I've always kind of prepared myself that like, yeah, it's like not a socially like, no, it's not a social norm, like to do music full time. And like almost 3 years ago, I was like, I was living in Philadelphia. I was working a whole bunch of jobs, just like trying to survive.
Right.
And I was also in a wedding band, which I'm still in, which like I count as like part of my full-time music job. You know what I mean? But
I guess that's more of a bread and butter kind of
right,
gig,
exactly.
Right?
And I mean, I'm so grateful to be able to do that. As like that is like my steady work when like we don't have stuff, and but I still get to do what I love to do, you know. But I was like, I'm gonna not do any of this other stuff anymore, and I'm gonna give this like 150% because like I just had this gut feeling that like I needed to just like completely jump in and like throw myself into it, no distractions, and like ever since I met Ken and I really like I could actually put like some like footwork behind that decision.
Right.
Like it's literally just gotten better and better. You know, more and more things have happened to like kind of solidify that like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So were you like real nervous about trying to jump into something like that? And we were kind of talking before we started recording, like I was driving over here and like kind of had butterflies in my stomach, like, and this is just something I do in my free time. It's my day off today, but like making that kind of commitment to quit your other types of jobs, to, like jump in, were you kind of feeling like sure, like that this is the right decision, or is it more of like
no, it was like I knew,
you knew
it got to the point where like it got to the point where like I just knew within, and like I can always go back to doing something else. True. So that's kind of like the mindset that I had. It's like kind of like a now or never type of thing. And you know, and like unfortunately, like in my industry, like the older I get, like the less chances I have. So it's like, no, I kind of just like just threw all the ideas that I had to the wayside, like that I had to like, you know, work a normal 9 to 5 and then like do music at night. Like, yeah, like a lot of people do that, but I just needed like this time to like just focus on this and like struggle for a little and like see what that's like, you know, like to
Right.
be the starving artist.
So cliche, but extremely true.
Yeah.
You know, I've kind of been thinking about like some stuff like that I have in my personal life. Like I've worked a bunch of different kind of 9-to-5 jobs before, and it kind of gets like tiring, you know. And then when I want to do something like creative or something like
You're
in
exhausted.
addition, I can't find the time. Like I used to work in the golf course maintenance industry, and I would get to work 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, and I'd only work till about 1 or 2.
Right.
But by the time people are having lunch, like
You're,
I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah.
Like I'm eating my coffee and breakfast before most people like wake up.
Yeah.
You know, like 10 o'clock, I'm eating like a cheesesteak for lunch, and like everyone's just kind of like getting on the road to go to work. And then what I found is that I would come home, I would eat something, take a nap, wake up, eat again, and then just go right to sleep. Like I was so physically exhausted that I didn't have any other time.
That's
to
like
do
what
stuff.
I was finding too, like working those kind of hours and then trying to be creative. Like all I wanted to do was like practice some sort of escapism. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't want to write music. I don't want to record. Like I just want to watch TV and like do nothing and like shut my brain off.
Right.
And like it was counterintuitive. Like yeah, I could make money, but like I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. It's like how long do you keep perpetuating that cycle?
Yeah, and it's really kind of a gift to figure that out at a young age.
Yeah.
Like before your window of opportunity is gone,
Yeah,
right? Like, and that's kind of, I've been talking about starting a podcast for like 5 years. I just never like put any action behind it. It was like, oh, I should start a podcast. I know like all these cool people that would be like cool to listen to.
Yeah, but that's awesome you're doing it now.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, the opportunity, just kind of like how you and Ken and Valerie came together, kind of presented itself to me.
Right.
Through a friend of a friend, I met John Douglas, and he's the one who had the equipment. And I went over. It was really like on a whim. My buddy Alex called me. He's like, hey, me and John are doing a podcast today. We need a third guy because the other guy can't make it. Like, you want to come? Like, yeah, man. You know, I'm not working until 6:30 tonight.
So it all just happened like
and then
very organically.
Right. And then I'm there talking to him. And he's like, and I kind of told him like I wanted to start. He's like, dude, anytime you want to borrow the equipment, just like call me. So I drove up there yesterday, and you know, met him at his work. You know, we talked for like 10 minutes. He gave me the equipment. And he was like, all right, dude, call me when you want to bring it back. Like just use it until you get something on your own. Because like another thing I'm trying to do is like I got a computer that my uncle gave me. I'm trying to. For some reason, I think it'd be cool to just do this based off of the goodwill of other people, you know, to start, right? So then, like, I can...
That's a cool concept.
If it goes further anywhere, it'll be like this thing kind of all started on goodwill. Like John
I have some
gave me the
ideas
equipment.
for you if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it'd just be, you know, like podcasting's free, right? Like anybody can download it, anybody can listen to it. So I kind of want to see how far I can get without really investing too much money in it. Like I want to buy my own equipment so I have the like mobility. And I was saying before we started that I like being able to put everything in a backpack, hop in my car, and drive to wherever people are, and be like. Because it's also better for the pitch. Be like, hey, I want you to be on my show.
And I'm going to come to you.
So people are like, oh, I don't have to go anywhere. Like, yeah, sure, come on over and just bring your stuff, and we'll go on it. I kind of just went off there for a little bit.
I like it. And it got my wheels turning, too. It's fine.
Yeah, so now, what kind of music do you guys do at Originaire? I know you've kind of like told me a little bit, but like I still don't really get it. My musical conception is like... not really good. My dad listened to 70s disco music. My older brother didn't really listen to any music, and I kind of like have been coming to find different styles of music. Like as I've grown up through people I know, you know.
So this is like my most hated question ever.
Really?
Yeah, which is fine. I'm gonna just give the best answer I possibly can. So Ken and I come from like very. Like a lot of our musical influences are very different. He was in like a Dave Matthews cover band in the past, and he like had a reggae band. So like, but we also have like a lot of similarities. This project Originaire is, I would say like the closest description of is like an indie folk acoustic. The thing about our music though, like we just went to Nashville and there's a lot of musicians in Nashville.
Right,
you
it's
know?
kind of like the mecca
it's like
of music, right?
City, you know, and I was like kind of nervous about that because like there's so much music, but there is something about us that like sets us apart. Like we don't just fit in one mold, like of like strictly folk or strictly Americana or like
Right.
like what you would hear. But like our music, it's based acoustically. Ken plays the acoustic guitar, she plays the fiddle, and I sing, and Ken sings as well. So yeah,
Now,
like that's the best answer I had.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, you did a pretty good job at it. Now, quick question: is a fiddle and a violin
It is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's just a term used for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like the more musical term?
No,
like
I think
fiddle?
it has to do with the style of playing.
Is a fiddle more kind of like up and down?
I'm
and
gonna
swinging
have
and
to
stuff
ask
like
her
that?
after we get done this, because but I think that's what she has said before. I could be wrong.
So I wonder if fiddle could be more like kind of like upbeat, maybe.
Yeah.
When I think of violin, I think of like more like classical, soft.
I
Like
could be
music that almost
completely
makes me
off the
cry.
mark, but like, yeah, I think that might have something to do with it.
So, so you guys took this trip to Nashville. Was this the first trip that you guys like took together as a trio?
As a trio, Ken and I toured all the way down to Key West
Right.
in the summer of 2016.
Okay.
So we had already survived a tour. We lasted without killing each other.
Okay.
We drove all the way down. We played a whole bunch of shows all the way from Key West all the way up the coast back home. But yeah, the three of us drove down in Ken's Jeep, and and we're all still friends.
Yeah.
And it was a really awesome trip. We had some Valerie's friends hosted us, so like we spent Thanksgiving with them and their family.
Oh, that's where you were staying when you were
Yeah.
down there? Oh, okay.
And
So
then
is this just like a house like full of musicians?
yeah, like it was incredible. Like people, and she's a violinist as well. So like we were all just jamming, and like
Right.
it was cool. Like the community of like seeing a community of musicians in another city.
Yeah, when I kind of like think of musicians like doing like trips like that, I kind of just like imagine like just like a big house and like a whole bunch of mixed matched furniture. People just like sleeping on the floor, sleeping like wherever somebody can fit.
Yeah.
It's just like cigarette
Yeah.
smoke like billowing up.
Yeah,
and, like,
well,
jazz
without
music in
there
the
was
background.
they had their kid there, so
that's good.
Yeah, no cigarette smoke. But
Just, like, the
that's
image
like
I get,
exactly yeah, like as long as we have our instruments, like and like we can like take a shower every once in a while and like get a meal, like we're good.
Right.
Like that's all. Like it's a simple life, but like it's so fulfilling.
Yeah, it's there's just and I think one of the reasons I wanted to like talk to you about this kind of stuff is like it's like really interesting to me because there's always like some allure of being a musician to people who are not musically talented. Like I can't play
It's
anything.
a romantic, like people romanticize it,
Right.
You know, I can, and people will say to me like, "Oh, it's so awesome! Like you're a musician," and like they don't see the other side of it where it's like we work our butts off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like yeah, it's so much fun, and like I'm so great. Like I'll catch myself on stage like pinching myself like this is what I do for a living. Like what? Like this is the thing I've dreamed of my whole life that I never really knew how quite to like do and like make a living and like pay my bills and like feed myself.
Right.
So, but like it is like a romantic thing. It's like this ideal of like the rock star or like, the musician who kind of just like wakes up when they want and like writes music
That's
all
what I
day. Yeah, but like as I've gotten older, I've found like through really trying to go after this and like really make a living out of it and like most importantly like share our music with as many people as possible. Like there
Right.
has to be some structure,
Right.
which like isn't easy for a musician who stays up till 4:00 in the morning writing music,
Right.
So it's like you have to get on some sort of schedule because like the stuff that is behind the scenes, behind all the writing, is all the marketing and all the videos.
You seem like you're pretty good at
and-
the marketing stuff so far
Yeah.
from what I've seen. I might
Thank
need
you.
like a lesson or two on
I
that.
kind of taken the lead on that. I don't know. It's just something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I would say I enjoy it, but like
It's a necessity, though.
yeah, it's like a necessity, and I've kind of taken the reins on it, and with the help of everybody else. But like I'm like, hey guys, we got to do this. Like let's put this content together. Like let's film this video, or like make sure we're taking photos at events. Like
Right.
like people are like, you're always on your phone. I'm like, I have to be. Like
Right.
if I'm not sharing with people what we're doing, like how are they gonna know?
Yeah,
getting
100%. That I'm sure it's probably frustrating at some points.
I would like to go off the grid. Like every other day, I'm like, I'm going off the grid.
Well, this place you got back here is
It
like
would-
pretty like kind of off the grid, like the beaten path
It
in Atlantic
is.
City.
But with social media, it's like nowadays, it's like you can't disconnect. Like I just want to disconnect. So I think we have a show this Sunday in New York City, and I think I'm gonna go ghost for like 2 days after.
After the show.
Yeah.
Now where's the show at? in the
Rockwood
city?
Music Hall.
Okay.
We play, I think, at 4:00 on Sunday.
Nice.
4:30.
That's cool. Christmas
Yeah.
time in New York City.
Yeah.
You're gonna go see the tree.
I don't know if we have time. I don't know.
You can't see, but CiBon just rolled her eyes at me when I said that.
I think actually Ken's going ice skating after.
In Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, I was like,
Super touristy.
I know. I know, right?
and yeah, anytime I go up to Manhattan, I try to like stick away from that part.
I know it is very pretty, but
Yeah.
I've already seen. Once you've seen it, it's like okay.
Yeah, my mom actually just took a bunch of people up from her church to see the Rockettes Christmas show.
I would actually love to see that.
You've never been to
No.
it?
I'm
actually
trying to
is
plan
really
a trip
cool.
to go see the Nutcracker in Philly before it's over this January.
Oh, I think my mom did that like last year or
Yeah.
2 years before. It was funny when I was a kid. My grandfather always told me that my grandmother was like one of the original Rockettes.
Wow.
Of course, he was just lying.
But she
like,
wasn't.
But he always had some sort of stupid joke like that. And my dad also told me my grandfather was the original drummer of the Beatles. So like just more stuff to
things
mess with my
that-
head at a young age. It's no wonder I kind of I'm a little spacey sometimes.
Oh, that's great.
So like, what are your like musical plans for the future? You guys just trying to find as many gigs as you can down here? Are you trying to get the word out that like your trio's together? Like, do you do like private shows, public shows? Like,
Yeah.
what's
So, when Ken and I started, it was, before we started writing or doing any original music, it was like we played cover gigs, which we still do. That pays the bills, and so we have to find a balance, especially in the wintertime, of like taking the time to write and work on like our recording original music, to like take the time to get paying gigs,
Right.
because unfortunately, like especially in this area, there's a very small scene for original music.
right?
Like we have to go to Philly, we have to go to New York, and that's why we kind of took this trip to Nashville, because for us, like, especially with our genre, we're not like pop. We're not, you know what I mean? Like, we're not like something that everybody's going to love. You
Right.
know what I mean? So we have to go to the market where like we're going to have an audience. So we took the trip to Nashville, and, the goal is to kind of travel as much as possible and play as many cities as we can.
Okay.
And try to get on some touring with some touring artists. But like we're trying to plan for February to go to LA. Just kind of like unfortunately, like nothing is going to happen if we stay right here in Atlantic City for
Right.
our original music. We could stay here forever and play cover gigs, I'm sure.
Right.
Which is like, that's also awesome. You know what I mean? Like to make a living doing what you love, but like we're really passionate about the music we write.
Right.
And to like get it out, we have to travel, which I love to travel, so it's
of course.
fine.
Yeah, you get to go over the U.S.
Yeah.
I've been in most states up and down the East Coast, and most of them, I lived out on the West Coast for a little while. I'm not the biggest fan of L.A.
Yeah.
But like, it's big. You
Well,
know, I'm
there's
used-
a lot of different areas, like there's a lot of places in California that, appreciate the kind of music we play.
Right.
But yeah, I think we're trying to shoot out there for the NAMM show. It's like this big
NAMM show?
NAMM. It's like National Association of Music, and it's 2 M's.
Oh, 2 M's.
Yeah.
Music and melodies.
Music and I'm not sure.
So, like, do you get? I've been always trying to wrap my head around like when I listen to music, like what's the process of like writing a song? Is it like do you think in terms of sound? Do you think in terms of lyrics, or does it come like more based off of?
I think in terms
emotions?
of sound. I think in terms of melody.
Like melodies. Okay.
Like Ken is very lyrically driven.
Okay.
He does a lot of the lead in like when we write our lyrics.
Okay.
Usually the process of it is he'll write something on guitar first. he'll just like write a whole song on guitar with no words, no vocal melody or anything. And then he'll come in and he'll play it for me and he'll say, tell me what you hear. And I'll hum a melody.
Okay.
And then he'll either already have an idea for lyrics or he'll get an idea for lyrics from what I sing. And then he'll start the writing process lyrically, and then we have to combine what I come up with, like with the melody. Huh. Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes my head hurt.
It makes my head hurt. It's songwriting is an awesome, beautiful thing, but it's definitely Ken is an incredible songwriter.
Right.
Like we work off each other's strengths and weaknesses. So like I have an ear for like hearing melody and harmony.
Okay.
Like that's like my go-to.
Right.
Like I could write songs like all day with that, but like when it comes to putting words to melody, it makes me want to like pull my hair out because I'm like a perfectionist. So like I'm like, well, if I put this word with this, like then it'll sound better. And he just like flows with it, and it's awesome because we can combine those two strengths. And like he'll come up with the words, and I'll say, "Well, we'll sing it like this."
Right. So it's almost like it starts out with him
with the guitar,
and then goes to you with the melodies, and back to him for lyrics, and then like together you kind of figure out how
it should go.
It should sound. And what does Valerie come into this equation? Like,
it's actually added like this whole other cool thing because what I do with hearing melody is what she does, but instead of singing it, she plays it on the violin. So like when we all write together, I've been saying to her, I want you to play what you hear for this song.
Okay.
So instead of me taking the lead on it, I want her to write or like just like improv on a melody to whatever he writes on guitar. And then that gives me more ideas for like where I should go and like where our harmony should go. So having her, and especially having her on stage, has helped us. Like it's just expanded everything. Like because you'll hear something that she'll play and it'll be like a little different than like what we normally sing. Even on songs we already had, she'll add things and I'll be like, whoa, like
never thought of that.
Yeah, I never thought of it. It changes it.
Changed.
So it's like it's exciting because it makes the creative process like more interesting.
Now, how often do you guys like get together? Like from what I imagine, there's like some group text going around. And
there is a group text.
Ken's like flying lyrics out to you, and you're like recording yourself like.
So Valerie's based. When we met her, she was living in Philadelphia. She's based out of Philly, and Cape May right now, and which is interesting because we're right in the middle. So she comes and crashes. She loves that couch over there, and so we, in the winter it's tough. Like we all have to make a living,
right? And
like she teaches and plays a lot of
like a music teacher, or like a school teacher.
She like violin and piano,
okay.
Yeah. So she, but like when we're not working, like when we all don't have separate gigs, like we're together, like we're here, like we're like a big family at this point. So. Yeah, like we get together as much as we can. We're working on a record right now, so like we're trying to. And when Valerie's not here, Ken and I are writing. Like she'll come and she'll be like, "God, you guys got done. Like you guys have written so many things since I saw you last."
Right,
and
it's like a catch up thing.
Yeah, so like and I'll send the other day. I just sent her something that we were writing, like so she can be included in the process when she's not here. But yeah, like, and it's funny because when we got back from Nashville. We were all like really tired after the drive home. We were like
tired from the drive or tired of each other?
Like tired from the drive, but like when that happens, like none of us want to be around anybody.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? So we're like, we're going to take the day, like, and not, I live with Ken and he was like, I don't want to see you until our next gig. And
go up to your room.
Yeah, like that's exactly what he said. And I was like, I don't want to see you either. It's fine. Like, because after a trip like that, you have to decompress.
Right, of course.
There's like a high that comes from the traveling.
Now, was there any sort of like emotional hangover from that trip, really?
There's
pretty
always,
quick to say that too.
There's always, like, it's like when we got back from Florida, we experienced it. When we have a big show, it's like you come off this high and then it's like, okay, we're back to reality. And it's not even like, it's like something like internal that just happens. Like even if like you feel great when you come back, it's just kind of like a shock. And I've actually read articles about it. Like it's an actual thing.
This is like a thing. I wonder if it's kind of similar to like when you go on a vacation. I remember going on like a lot of cruises when I was a kid, or like out traveling with my parents,
home.
and you're like,
and you're like depressed.
Right.
Yeah, it's
and it like makes you want to go back out on another one.
Yeah. Yeah. So like and then, but then of course, like that day we were supposed to take to ourselves, I like woke up and Ken came in and like made coffee, and I was like, what are you doing in here? We had like separation anxiety from being together for like all that time. Yeah.
How long was the trip you guys went on?
I think it was like a week and a half.
Yeah. It's a long time to be like riding with somebody like constantly, because you're, sleeping at the same place, eating at the same place, driving the same car. There's no like...
No, there's no downtime.
Huh. That's crazy.
I know. It's awesome like that we have the three of us have the kind of relationship where we can do that, and we're all like very much the same. Like Ken and I, when we drove to Florida, like we're both the kind of people like we could sit in the car for hours and not say a word, and like that's fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not because we're like not.
It's gonna mean you guys are comfortable with each other.
Right. So like we can like take that personal space even when we're like all together.
Right.
And the same happened with Valerie. Like we're all very much like we know like what we all need.
Right.
So like when you're in a car with somebody that long, it's like that's a good thing.
Yeah, because Nashville's not really like around the corner. What's it, 12 hours?
Yeah, the way
14?
down. It took 14 on the way down.
14. You're going through the Smokies though, so it's probably pretty like a really nice drive.
It was. The way down. Yeah, we didn't catch like a lot on the way back because we drove at night, and like we were like coming through like DC in the morning, but yeah, the drive, that's the best part about like traveling.
The drive?
Is the
drive.
drive.
I love traveling.
Yeah, especially when there's like three people, we could like rotate driving responsibilities.
Who's like the lead driver at
Ken.
Ken, definitely Ken. You're using his car, right?
Yeah. Not because it was his car, just because that's the way
it's the way it rolls.
On the way down, he did like a solid 5 hours.
Right.
And then like we switched. On the way home, I lacked on the way down. I definitely didn't hold my weight.
Did you have like a I don't know, what do they call those things? Like a night mask? And
no,
have your eyes covered and slept?
I had a neck pillow. I did.
Like one of those ones they sell at the airport?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then on the way home, I did like a 3-hour stretch, which was good for me. I was like.
I typically, if I'm in the car or in a car, I like to be the one driving. Like I'm good with public transit, and I don't mind sitting like on the bus or like a train.
Yeah.
But like if I'm on a road trip with my friends, like I want to be the one in the driver's seat. Is it a control
thing?
Yeah, I guess it's definitely a control thing. It's more of I also think it's like I get bored easily.
Yeah,
if I'm sitting in a car.
That's how Ken is too. That's why he drove most.
Yeah, and I'm not like big. Like I can look at my phone. Like I could really get lost on it for hours, but like I don't like to.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
So I'd rather be driving, but the one thing I hate the most is when I'm driving. This happened the other day. I was with a buddy of mine in my car, and I'm in the driver's seat, and I was with a couple other people. I was like, "No, man, like you sit shotgun," hoping that he was going to talk to me.
Oh, that's the worst.
Well, I wanted him to talk to me, so I like the person who's in my co-pilot seat to have some communication,
or at least be willing to do that.
He put his headphones on.
Oh no!
And I was like, this is the last time this kid ever sits in the front seat of my car. I'm like, what are you doing? Like your responsibilities as co-pilot is to help me navigate and to keep me kind of going.
Alert.
And it wasn't really a long drive. I think we were going to like Egg Harbor. It was only like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, but still, exactly. It's only 20 minutes. So
I'm like, you're actually be sitting in the back. Like if you're just gonna listen to your headphones and just do your own thing, like I don't need you up here.
Exactly. We made sure that like because when it was just Ken and I, it was like Ken would drive, I would sleep.
Right.
So then when Valerie was there, it was like we'd at least have one person awake as a co-pilot.
In the front, yeah.
Right. So we would rotate that, and like co-pilot would control music and like
Oh, is that how that works?
GPS. Oh yeah.
Co-pilot's music choice?
Yeah.
So what
But like we like to like coordinate with the driver to make sure like what they're listening to is like good for them
acceptable
driving.
for the driver.
Yeah, like you don't want them to like not like the music while they're driving.
Right. Now, do you guys have like same musical like taste at all, or?
So to further what we were just talking about, like the co-piloting, Valerie and I share some very specific things that we like,
such as
the Fleet Foxes, Muse.
I've heard of Muse.
Yeah, so like we're like big fans, and
Okay.
Ken is not.
Like at all?
Like
Hates it.
he just told this story the other night. Like he was trying to sleep, and I was driving. This was on the way back, and I had just gotten really into this Fleet Foxes album, and I was playing it. And it's like perfect for a road trip. It's like that kind of music, and he hates this. It's not that he hates this band. It's just like, I don't know what his aversion to it is, because it's not like a genre that he wouldn't like.
Right. I think music is kind of like food, right? In the sense that, like, for the longest time, I didn't like onions. People ask me, like, why do you not like onions? I'm like, all right, well, tell me some sort of food that you don't like.
Right.
And they're like, well,
I don't like eggs.
like, why? Because they don't taste good, right? Like, it's the same thing with sound. It's like, you don't like it because you just don't like it. Like,
Right,
there's
it
not
doesn't
any
sound
reason.
good to you.
Right. Like, I'm trying to think
It's
of
nothing personal against them.
I don't really eat seafood, right? Like,
Right.
I'll eat shellfish. I think like crabs and lobster are too much work for too little meat. And if you're gonna put that much butter on anything, like, it's gonna taste good. But even with like other fish, like, I don't really. People are like, oh, why don't you like seafood? I'm like, it just doesn't taste good to me. Like, I'm not gonna eat it.
It's not true. I don't think like you one day woke up and you're like, I'm just gonna not like this. It's just
no
how
seafood for me.
Yeah, like it's just how it is. But so real quick, I started playing this band and I was like singing along, and he woke up and he still tells this story. He's like, all I could hear in my sleep was you harmonizing the Fleet Foxes, and it was driving me. He's like, I almost woke up and just like freaked out. So now, like, and he's a really deep sleeper. He could sleep through anything.
I'm the same way.
Like, I put on like a really loud like rap song the other day just to prove to somebody that he'll sleep through anything. But he could hear the Fleet Foxes.
Yeah,
It's like his
those tones coming in were
he
like
did
not
not like
something he
it.
liked.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been talking to some guys I live with. The type of mattress I have in my house is it's like one of those rolled up ones that you can order off Amazon. It's like memory foam, and it's like really soft and super comfortable. But it's almost to the point where it's like too comfortable.
I hear what you're saying.
I sleep so hard. When I wake up, like I feel like I'm hungover. Like my eyes are real heavy.
I had a
my back
Tempur-Pedic and it
hurts.
was like that.
I don't like it. Like, I sleep great.
Yeah.
But when I wake up, I don't really like feel refreshed. I feel like I just kind of got like beat up a little bit.
I know. I felt the same way with my Tempur-Pedic. I miss it though because that was some good sleep.
Right, but it's like, I wake up and it takes me like a good half hour, like 40 minutes to like get going.
going.
Like, I gotta have a cup of coffee. I gotta have a little nicotine. I gotta have like I eat English muffins every day for breakfast. So like
we always eat English muffins too.
English muffins with butter and jelly, or butter and like cinnamon sugar.
I put butter, or I'll put like butter with a touch of salt.
Salt, really?
Yeah.
There's not enough salt in the butter already.
No, actually, I started doing that because he had unsalted butter. That's why I started doing it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
butter.
it's like no like flavor,
no
nothing
flavor
to it.
So, where like, are you gonna be doing some shows like recent or not recent, upcoming, like around this area? If people wanted to like find your music, like
yeah,
where
so
would they?
We have all of our dates, and like our upcoming shows and what we're up to. You can find us at originairmusic.com or on Facebook, Originaire Music. We post all of our flyers for shows. This Sunday we're at Rockwood Music Hall. We have a big show in December. At Milk Boy, we're opening up for the Ben Miller Band. All those dates and the times and information's on our website. So
now, is there a place that like can people download your music or buy your music? Is it on your website as well, or Google Music, iTunes?
Yeah, we're on iTunes, Google Music, Spotify as Ken Childs and CiBon. We recently just changed our name when we added Valerie, so those are all of our new stuff. Will be released when it's released. It'll be released under Originaire. So this is all like very new. Like, we made that jump and changed our name.
Now, who came up with that name change? Was it like a group decision, or somebody like?
Ken and I had wanted to change our name when it was just the two of us.
Right.
But like, that's a commitment that we like were afraid of, like committing to a name.
Oh, because then it's kind of like solidified that like you're.
Yeah,
a group now,
it's
right?
not even like that commitment to the project. It's just like once you pick a name, like that's it. Like you can't go back.
Right.
So we came up. The name is the French word for native, and Ken and I both have Native American backgrounds. So we wanted something different and kind of like relative to what we were like, what we're about, and it was scary. It was really scary.
Well, I think the name, from what I know about you guys so far, like the name definitely it fits, and
Right.
it kind of rolls off the tongue too.
Yeah,
like, those are some things
originaire.
that you gotta have.
Right.
But CiBon, I really appreciate you doing
Thank
this
you.
with me today. Hopefully, we can do something else in the future.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
have
love
Ken and
to.
Valerie on, and,
Yeah.
good luck with your music from here on out.
Thank you so much.